Can you hear me, guys? It's audible? Okay, good morning, everybody. Thanks, guys, for the introduction. Great to be here and fantastic to see a startup culture being fostered in the non-metro cities of India. I think it's very, very important. And I was just telling the guys that in the bigger cities, we really look at what are the problems in the West and try and ape them. I think what we really do in the non-metros is look at real Indian problems and try and solve them. And I mean, it's fantastic that there are so many people who are interested in knowing about startups, in wanting to start up on their own. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take you through the journey of Book My Show, tell you, so we are probably one of the oldest startups in the country. So we've been around since .com 1.0, we've seen .com 2.0, we are now in .com 3.0, and I can tell you it's a cycle. It goes up, it goes down, and we've lived through that. So as Karthik mentioned, I was working in South Africa. We were 3 college friends. They came to visit me there, and while we were driving on a holiday, there's a service in South Africa called CompuTicket, which does pretty much what we do. And we thought, look, India is a market where the only entertainment is movies. This is a no-brainer idea. Being 24, 25-year-old kids, we quit our jobs and we came back. I came back to India. These guys quit their jobs and we said, hey, let's start off a ticketing service. Little did we know that in India, the law does not permit tickets to be sold outside the box office. So that was challenge number 1. So I think that was a massive, massive learning for us, that in India you have to work with the government and you have to work through the government. And it took us almost 2 years to change the government law, to lobby people, and people just didn't take us seriously. They said, hey, 3 bacche hain, kya karenge? And I think maybe in a way it worked for us because we were really nobodies and we just kept at it and we kept hammering away and we kept going to the government guys and telling them, sir, please license le lo, ye kar do, ye kar do. And eventually the Maharashtra government in 2001 actually allowed us to sell tickets online. And using that as a reference, we went to other states all over the country and we got permission. That's when we figured out the second problem. There are no payment mechanisms available at that point of time. So even though, we started tying up with cinemas, etc., we figured out, most people don't have credit cards. There are no online payment gateways. So that was reality check number 2. At that time, it was, like I said, .com 1.0. There were people putting in money, crazy amounts of money in different companies. There was India.com, which had been funded to $100 million. So, I mean, we knew some VCs, we went up to them and said, look, here's the idea, we want to do this. And the guy turned around and said, how much money do you need? We said, okay, $500,000. He said, done. Transferred the money in our personal bank accounts the next day. Those were the euphoric days and that was the madness that was going on. We had sent them a business plan on a fax. It was a 1-page business plan. And on the basis of that plan, we were given $500,000. At that time, it was a huge amount of money. So that was the madness, and we see that happen again today. I mean, these are euphoric times. People are throwing money literally at companies which have attained any kind of traction. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. And like I said, it's a cycle. It goes up, it will come down at some point of time. So you have to be prepared for that. So in 2001, the other thing we figured out is cinemas are not automated. Everybody had those little booklets of tickets which they used to give out manually at the box office. If you would go to a traditional box office, you would see like he had like a pigeonhole of 50 booklets, one for each day of the week, one for each category. So what we would do is we would actually block rows in cinemas and we would tell them, look, aap mere ko har show ke 50 tickets de do. And what would happen is on the weekday those tickets wouldn't sell. On the weekends, I would sell all of them, but then I wouldn't have more capacity which I needed because I could sell a lot more. So it was kind of a chicken and egg story. So we were trying to scale, but we were limited by 2 or 3 things at the time. One was obviously there was no internet penetration in the country at that time. The second was we were buying inventory from cinemas. And the third was payments was a big challenge. So in 2001, we pretty much ran out of money. At that time, News Corp was putting a lot of money into internet ventures. So we went to News Corp and we said, look, here, this is our business, can you guys do something? And they were launching India.com at the time, INDYA. I don't know if you guys know of it, but they were the first brand to take the front page of the Times of India, which is now as an advertising space, and which is now Times of India has made it a default, but they were the first brand in the country to do that. And they said, okay, we will fund you. So we said, great, we got a lifeline for a little more time. Unfortunately, in 2002, the bottom fell out of the market. Everybody pulled out of dot-coms because nobody was seeing traction, nobody was seeing scale. Money ran out. And News Corp said they're pulling out of all internet investments worldwide. So they had an investment in eBay, they pulled out of that. They had an investment in lots of companies, they pulled out of that completely. And in 2002, they told us, look, we can't fund this company anymore, you guys are on your own. And I remember it happened one day before I was supposed to get married, and it was a pleasant surprise. So it was a good wedding gift, but you know, that's life, and the life of an entrepreneur is not easy. Especially, I mean, we've really seen it, and we're what, a 15-year-old startup now, and it's only now in the last couple of years that we've seen some scale and traction. So it's hard work. You have to keep at it if you really believe in what you're doing. So, yeah, so 2002, we went to News Corp and we said, look, if you guys are pulling out, can we take the company back from you? And they said, yeah, just pay us whatever are the fixed assets. So it was a few lakhs. We kind of pooled in the money together from our savings and we bought the company back. And from 2002 to 2006, what we actually did is we started developing the ecosystem. What do I mean by that? We actually got a software and we started selling it to cinemas, because that was the time when multiplexes were just starting to come in. PVR had built its first site, Inox was just building its first site, AdLabs had come in with multiplexes. And we actually went to them and told them, look guys, I mean, you have this cinema, we've got this fantastic software which will help you run your box office, run your F&B, run everything for you. And they all bought it. So we became, from a service, from like an internet company, we became a software seller. And from 2002 to 2006, all we did is actually go out and sell software to all these companies. And in 2006, we realized that, look, it seems like the market is turning again. There seems to be potential for an online play. Let's take a shot at it again. And the advantage we now had is that our software was sitting in pretty much 90% of the multiplex box offices. So all we had to do was talk to it. So what we did is we built a small little website on top of it which talked to all the cinemas. And that was called MovieTel. It lasted for about 6 months. And we started with about 50 screens. And we saw very, very decent traction. So we said, if we want to scale this, we need some more money. None of us had any money. So we went out into the market again. And we went to all the VCs. And so we know each and every VC in this country today. We've known them from 2001. We went out to them, reached out to them again in 2006 and 7. And pretty much everybody said, look, yeah, your business doesn't have too much room to grow. It's a very small business. I don't think there is any headroom. And you know, the surprising statistic is that India sells 4 billion movie tickets a year. That's more than the rest of the world put together. You take America, you take Europe, you take the Middle East, you take Africa, and you add all of that, and it's still less than what India sells. And we're like, how the hell are you guys saying there's no headroom? I mean, here we are selling like 50,000 tickets, and we've got scope to go up to maybe not 4 billion, but at least 1 billion tickets. So in any case, at that time, Ticketmaster wanted to enter the country. So we went to Ticketmaster, and they said, look, we're interested, we'll fund you guys. And coincidentally, Network 18 was building a .com play at the time. So somehow we found a connection there, and they came to us and said, look, we're interested in this business, we think it can scale. So we had a choice at the time. Should we go with Ticketmaster, which is the world's leading ticketing company, or should we go with Network 18, which is an Indian media company? And we said no to Ticketmaster. In hindsight, probably that was the best decision, because that would have been the end of the company or the end of us, because they would have just absorbed it and taken it over at some point in time in the future. And we went with Network 18. So they put in a very small amount of money and a large amount of media. And in 2007, August, we launched Book My Show. So Book My Show launched with Chakde India. I remember the day. We spent 7 nights in office non-stop, just getting everything together, burning the midnight oil, and we launched the site at about 11 o'clock in August 2007. And the minute we launched, within 1 hour, the HDFC payment gateway went down. So we had only one payment gateway and it went down. So that was like, okay, this happens only in India. Eventually that day we ended up selling 19 tickets, which was fantastic because nobody knew of the site. We just put it up, people discovered it and they bought tickets. That's where the journey started. So just to give you a comparative, last month we ended up selling 5.5 million tickets. So that's really what the growth has been. So yes, we've been at it. We've been at it. Last year, Economic Times gave us the Startup of the Year award. And we went to them and told them, what? We are not a startup here. We're 15 years old. How can you give us a startup award? And really, that's what I'm saying. So in India, these things take a lot of time. It's not you start a company and tomorrow you're Instagram or you're an Oculus Rift. It takes time in India. It takes time for the ecosystem. We don't have an ecosystem. You have to build it. If you look at Flipkart, they did exactly the same thing. I mean, that's one company which you can credit with building the customer service culture in India. They literally solved the delivery problem and the customer service problem. You have to take these ground up problems and you have to solve them if you want to make an impact in India. You cannot just take a Western model, import it here and say, look, this is my model and this is how it's going to work. It doesn't work like that and it takes time. So yeah, so in 2007, we launched Book My Show. We had a very simple idea and a very simple thought that the consumer experience has to be as simple as possible. So we were the first site in the country which said no registration. I think that was a huge pain point for people. It's like going to a cafe coffee day and telling the guy, give me a coffee, and he says, sir, aapka naam batao, number batao, mere password do, fir main aapko coffee dunga. It doesn't work like that. Yeah? The guy wants to watch a movie, just take his phone number and his email ID, send him the ticket, get the transaction over with. And that's how we started. And I think the idea is, if you want to be successful in a B2B business, is to reduce friction. Make it as simple as possible for the customer. Find what he wants, give him what he wants, and let him go. If you're a transactional business, that's what you want. You want him to come, use your service, and get out. You don't want to tell him, ki yaar, abhi to log in kar, फिर to Facebook पे connect kar, then you post it on Facebook, then you do this, then you do that, then I'll let you buy a ticket. Doesn't work. I mean, so our idea was, yes, we have all these features, but don't make it compulsory. Make it optional for the user. If somebody wants to engage, yeah, you want to watch a trailer, it's there. You want to write a review, it's there. But I mean, if you just want to buy a ticket, just follow these 3 steps and get out. Take your SMS, take your printout, go to the cinema, and you're done. So that was the key platform, key premise we started off with. And that's something we absolutely strongly believe in, that customer experience has to be as easy, as frictionless as possible. So 2007 to 2011, we worked on the business, we scaled the business. We didn't spend any money on marketing because we didn't have a lot of money to spend in any case. So it was pretty much all organic discovery. People were finding about our service, and we started hitting scale only in about 2011, 2012, where we actually started to make an impact in the box office revenues of a film. At that point of time, the live entertainment scene started to open up. So you suddenly had your IPLs coming in, you had concerts happening across the country, sunburns coming in, and we said, look, here's an opportunity for us to do what Ticketmaster does, apart from being just a movie ticketing service, can be also be a live entertainment service. So we started working with event organizers, event promoters, started doing live events. Now that's a completely different ballgame because there is a whole infrastructure issue there. So for example, since we are in Jaipur, we manage the ticketing for the IPL team in Jaipur, the Rajasthan Royals. And I can tell you it's a massive exercise. It's a 2-month exercise. We actually set up a box office here, which is automated, manned by us. We have about 20 outlets set up across the city, which are again manned by us. On the day of this match, you have Book My Show people standing at each and every gate, checking your ticket, scanning your ticket, making sure you're sitting where you're supposed to sit. And this is an ecosystem problem in the country. Earlier, when you went to a cricket match, you would go in and there would be crazy amounts of crowd. Anybody would sit anywhere. You would not get a place to sit. People would have just come in without paying for their tickets. And that's the ecosystem we've changed. Today, if you see an IPL match, the bulk of it is family crowds. And it's only because we have said we will go that extra mile and we will make the effort to ensure that a guy who has bought a ticket very well gets to sit on the seat he's bought. And he's not harassed by people coming in. So we are very, very strict about that. So there's this whole complimentary culture in India that, I want a free ticket, I don't want to pay for a ticket. And we work really hard. And there are issues like, policemen will let people in from the gates without paying money. They'll get their friends and family in and stuff like that. So we tell the organizers, look, boss, we are your frontline force. You direct all your problems to us, we will handle it. And really, so an event business for me is selling tickets is like 10% of the job. Managing the rest of it is 90% of the job. So which is what I'm saying is when you do these, when you solve these problems in India, you have to get your hands dirty. You cannot say, I'm just a website, I'm going to sell tickets, but mera kaam wahi khatam ho gaya. It doesn't work that way. Flipkart had to start a delivery service because of that way, because they were getting too many customer issues with the courier companies. They started their own delivery service. So these are problems and issues which you have to deal with and you have to grapple with at the ground level. So coming to the next phase, in 2008, we were running out of money again because we were scaling up very fast. We were making a lot of investments in technology and infrastructure. And the bottom fell out of the market again. And the movie industry went on strike for a month. I don't know if you guys remember, in 2008 it happened. IPL moved to South Africa. And we were burning more money than we were making at that point in time. So we had a very conscious choice. We could either retrench a lot of people, and we put it up within the company to everybody, saying, look guys, we have a problem. There is a bad patch of 6 months going to come up. We have two choices. We can fire half of you, or we can reduce salaries across the board. So depending on how much you get paid, the higher the cut you get. And like people who are below a certain level didn't take any salary cut. And everybody, 99% of the people said, look, we believe in you guys, we believe in this company. We are happy to take a salary cut. And that was a very, very valuable lesson for us. Because 6 months later, when the market bounced back, we had our entire team in place. We didn't have to rehire people, we didn't have to go out and do anything. Everybody was in place, we had our team, and it really speaks volumes about the loyalty of the team and the belief in the team and the business, that they all unanimously agreed to take a salary cut, and we compensated for it as soon as things got better again. And that's, I think, a very, very valuable lesson. Your employees are your most important asset. You have to take care of them, you have to believe in them, and you have to empower them. So for us right now, the biggest struggle is to give up control. I don't want to run the business. I want capable people in the business who can take decisions and who can run the business. Because beyond a certain point of time, as the company scales, you cannot do everything yourself. You need to get talented people, you need to get people who can take decisions and who can do stuff. So we went through 2001, 2009, uh, where funds were a problem. And then in 2010, so and in about 2012, we actually turned cash positive. And since then, we haven't looked back. We've been making money quarter on quarter. We've not been losing money. But in 2012, we said, look, the market is good. Growth is good, but it's not fantastic. Can we do something to take the growth to the next level? So we said, let's raise another round of funding and let's get a quality investor in this time. And we went out into the market again. And we managed to get Accel partners who believe in our story and fund the company. Accel, as you guys know, are the guys who funded Facebook. They funded Flipkart. They funded Myntra. They funded probably some of the biggest companies in the country and abroad. And I cannot tell you how much value a quality investor can bring on board. Somebody of that caliber, somebody of that level can really bring fantastic value on board, even if it is just making connections, technology connections, business connections. My colleague Ashish, in fact, went to the US a few months ago because Accel had a conference and got to interact with people from Facebook, from Mark Zuckerberg, from Satya Nadella, from the titans of the tech industry. And it just gives you a wider perspective on the market. And we firmly believe as you climb higher in your business, the market becomes to look bigger and bigger to you. And you see there are more opportunities in the market that you can exploit. And that's really the position where we are at, where we are actually looking at the market and saying, what else can we do? I mean, we've got this base. So today we're sitting on 10 million customers who come and transact with us. Interesting thing, we're one of the few companies that made a very, very early transition to mobile. So we launched a very clunky app, iOS and Android, about 2 years ago. Today, mobile is 60% of our business. We've seen a dramatic shift. Every month on month, 1 to 1-2% of my web share goes down and my mobile share goes up. And in India, it's largely driven by Android. So I'm pretty sure you all know that. But yeah, I mean, that's the platform of choice. The engagement on Android is tremendous. It's absolutely tremendous. I mean, on any given day, at any given point of time, I probably have 10,000 Android users browsing the app and maybe 100 iOS users doing the same thing. So it's really 100 times the engagement. So yeah, focus on mobile. That's really the next frontier. So yeah, we have 60% of customers using the mobile app. 30% of them have saved their card with us. So we have 1 million plus saved cards. That's another massive friction point. So the idea of starting stored cards was the fact that, you know, it's a one-click pay, then as close to one click as you can get. Enter your CVV, enter your password, and you're out. You don't have to enter your card number. You don't have to enter your whatever name and expiry, etc. It's all stored. And on the app, it's so simple. You select your seat, you choose your payment type, enter your CVV, enter your password, and you're done. And what we've seen is movie-going patterns have also changed. Earlier, people used to go a week in advance. You would plan, you would buy an advance ticket, and you would go. Today, I mean, people buy a plan 2 hours before the show, 3 hours before the show, 1 hour before the show. I mean, I know customers who are driving to the theater and they buy it online. I know of guys who are standing in the box office and they see there's a long line, they'll stand and they'll buy their ticket online on the app. And I think that's going to happen with across the board for any category you're in. You have to look at mobile as what's going to drive your business. And again, reality check here. India has 1.2 billion people, 800 million handsets, fantastic number. 120 million data connections. Sorry, 120 million smartphones. So straight away, your market comes down from 800 to 120. 120 means only 50 million have active data connections. So you're down to 50. Out of that, only 15 million e-commerce payment transactors. So people who have actually used net banking or their credit cards to transact online. So straight from a 1 billion market, you're operating in a 15 million market. Now the hope is, and our business doesn't do COD. So if you look at Flipkart, if you look at Snapdeal, you look at Amazon, 60% of their business is COD. we don't do COD because we can't, our business is very, very almost real time now. People are buying an hour, 2 hours before the show. So I mean, I'm really limited by the market today, by the payment technology today. And so we are exploring disruptive technologies there. What can we do? How can we enable cash? Can we do some kind of COD? Can we allow people to pay at the cinema? So those are things we need to look, because I am now dependent on the fact that this 15 million will go to 20 million, will go to 50 million, will go to 100 million, and that's where I will grow. Because I'm already operating in 80% of the market today. So another reality check. So yeah, the numbers are great, 5 million tickets, blah, blah, blah. But we have to look at how we can push the envelope and get that next set of users going. And the guys who are your Flipkart users, who are buying online but are buying COD, how do I get them to buy on the game? So those are some of the challenges we are grappling with, some of the things we are working on. The other thing we think, which is a significant problem, is that when people buy online, there is a huge pain point that when a big movie releases, you go to the cinema and the online line is bigger than the box office line. So that's something we are working on. How can we either automate it or just you show your phone and you walk in? So we've actually piloted this in Delhi with PVR, where when you buy online, all you get is a barcode on your phone. You go to the gate, scan your barcode and enter. You don't have to go to the box office, pick up your ticket. You don't have to go to a kiosk, pick up your ticket. You don't need to do anything. You just take your phone, flash it at the gate and walk in. That's it. And I think that will be another game changer, because I know when you're paying me a convenience fee, it's actually an inconvenience fee, and we recognize the fact. Because when you actually want to buy a ticket, you're actually standing in a line behind 20 other people who bought their ticket, and it takes you probably 15 minutes to pick it up. So again, it's not an online problem, it's a real world on the ground problem which has to be solved. And only if you are able to solve these problems will you be able to hit scale. And will you be able to be a service that people will love and enjoy. Otherwise, you know, people will look at you very negatively, saying that, yeah, I mean, I have to use this, so I'm using it, but you know, it's not a good experience. And we hate that about our service, that we are not able to deliver full consistency to the user. That, yeah, I'm able to sell you the ticket, but I'm not able to get you in the cinema or get you into the venue easily. And for us, that is a big pain point, which we are trying to solve. So yeah, I mean, key points: keep the customer service. Keep the customer paramount. Think from the customer's point of view. I mean, we were focused on UI and UX. We think we are very, very poor at UI and UX. I think our design, our interface is really bad, and we've been trying to fix that for the longest time. But we don't have the talent internally to do it. The entire UI and UX has been just built by a couple of us, saying, we understand what we want from how the user to use the system, but sometimes we are not the best people to translate it into action. But that's something we are really, that's going to be our next focus. I think we've done it with mobile to some level, but on the web, we think our experience is still very, very limited, and we'd like to do a lot more there. So like I said, key learning, focus on the customer, make the customer experience as simple as possible, take care of your employees, most important asset you have. Third thing, solve a real problem. Don't solve a superficial problem. Buying tickets online is just part of the problem. Fulfilling and getting that guy to sit on the seat is actually the real problem. Getting him on time, getting him in without friction, for us that is the real problem. So when people ask us, what is your competition, who do you compete with, we say our competition is the box office. Because 90% of my users still go to the box office, they don't buy online. How can I make their life so simple that they don't even think about going to the box office? What can I do for them? That they see value in that 10, 15 rupees that I'm charging, and they say, yeah, it's simpler to just pay this money and go to the cinema rather than go to the box office and buy a ticket. That's the challenge we are facing. It's not, is this guy selling more tickets than me or is that guy selling more tickets? My challenge is the box office, and really that's what I'm focusing on today. So really, yeah, that was the journey in a nutshell. I don't want to bore you guys too much. I just thought I'd highlight a few key points, learnings. Things take time in India. It's not overnight success. You cannot get overnight success. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of hard work, and you have to take risks, and that's the job profile on an entrepreneur. You have to take risks, and the younger you are, the easier it is to do that, because you have some cushion. But as you get older, your risk appetite becomes lower and lower, and at that point of time, if you're in a cushy job and you have a great idea and you have to take a decision, should I quit my job? I think that's one of the toughest decisions a guy can take, and that takes real guts and self-belief and belief in your idea. So that's something you guys should think about. Yeah, I mean, so really, that was the Book My Show story in a nutshell. Some of the key learnings we had. I'm happy to talk to you guys, take questions if anybody has any questions or comments.
Okay guys, so Parikshit, good news is you're on time.
I'm on time.
I'm on time. And the great news is that gives us the leeway for you guys to ask maybe 3 questions, right? 3 questions in total. So we'll give the mic to people who are good looking. Because I like good looking guys, you know? I like guys who look like me. Who made that choice? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my name is Pulkit. My question was, did you face any regulatory hurdles?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. In 2013, the Maharashtra government came out with a regulation saying Book My Show cannot charge any fee to consumer. So for 1 year we lost about 15 crores of revenue because we couldn't charge. And we actually went to the court and we fought it out. And the court gave an order in our favor in the middle of this year, so we started charging.
For other states, you have to face the same.
Yeah, it's a pain because it's a state regulated issue. So I have to go to, every time I start business in a new state, I have to go to the state and get a license.
But I've heard of Netflix and some other online blockbuster video and all. So how does, do you think that you can incorporate some of their features into your...
We looked at that business model. We've actually been exploring, like I said, we've been exploring what more can we do with our business and with our consumers related to what we do. And the Netflix model has a very long way to go in India. And the key thing is, you need very, very deep pockets. It's a cash burn business for the next 10 years. First of all, that business will not take off till bandwidth penetration at households reaches 2 to 3 Mbps. In households, this is not a business which will run off office bandwidth or anything. This is people who are sitting at home deciding what they want to watch. So that business is very, very tough. The second thing is, the minute you start making money, the content owner is going to start asking you for more and more money. So a Fox or a Disney, and Netflix is facing that problem. So if you see, they don't have any first-run films. They only have older films, older content.
Sir, one question per person. You know, India, 1.2 billion people into 3 questions. बहुत painful हो जाएगा. Good looking guys, please put up their hand. Good looking women, I'll give you the mic.
I hope I am good looking, right?
Kawa. It's a face only a mother could love.
Thank God. At least one person in the world is there to love me. Okay, I am Pranay. Sir, I have a question. So what is the big next move that Book My Show is going to make? So after you have already selling tickets, so what do you think, what you all can sell beyond tickets?
I don't think there is anything else we want to sell beyond tickets. We've been exploring, like I said, during that exploratory phase. We raised money, we've got a lot of money sitting in the bank now, which is just earning interest right now. And another insight I give you, we raised money when we didn't need it. We were cash positive. We can continue in the next 5 years, the business will grow at a steady rate. The reason we raised money is because we could raise it on our terms today. I am not running after VC saying, look, I've got 3 months of cash left, I will never paisa de do. And then he will say, acha, you are desperate, I will give you at 50% of your valuation. You take it if you want, otherwise go away. So we raised money when we didn't need it, and the idea of raising that money was that, look, we've got so many users, we are getting 40 million visits a month. What else can we do to engage that user, to do more with that user, to offer that user more services? So that's something we are still in the discovery process of. We know a lot of people come to us just to browse content. They want to see movie trailers, they want to see posters, they want to read reviews and all that. So we're looking at something on those lines. We're looking at something related to social media on entertainment. We evaluated the Netflix opportunity and we passed on it. We didn't think it's going to work in India for a long time. So yeah, so I mean, we are still in the discovery phase. We haven't really finalized that this is the next big thing is what we are going to focus on.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, bura mat manna, don't meet me in the playground or anything. The only black belt I wear is. Next question. Yes, sir.
I am Aditya. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't.
Just use the mic so that the audience can. Just 2 seconds.
Hi, I am Aditya. I don't know, I'm not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there are no cancellation policies once you book the ticket. So, if anything can be offered on that front, I think it will be very beneficial.
So again, we would love to offer cancellation. The problem is it is a government legislation again that once the ticket is purchased, it actually gets blocked in the cinema's box office system, and they are not allowed to refund it. And that is really, I mean, for us, that is the next big pain point. That, I mean, plans change. People want to cancel tickets for whatever reason, and I am not allowed to do that legally. So we are thinking of doing something where, you know, we won't cancel the ticket, but we'll refund the customer the money, or maybe we'll issue him a voucher which he can use for the next transaction or something like that. So that is something we are talking to cinemas about, because we need a buy-in from cinemas on that as well. So it's something we are working on. We know that is a pain point.
Rescheduling or barter kind of a...
Yeah, correct. So it's something which we are very, very aware of, very keenly aware of. We know it's a huge pain point. The maximum queries which come on our customer support currently are for this reason, that why can't I cancel my
I
ticket?
think most of the people must have felt it while Happy New Year was being on the... After the reviews, people...
Sir, वो बीवी का pressure होता है, वो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. You have to watch that. Did you watch Happy New Year?
No, sad part is...
Are you married?
I'm married, I have 2 children, so I don't get to watch any movie.
There is a very, very large pain point waiting to be solved. Husbands against Shah Rukh Khan. There is a very, very large pain point.
No, we love Shah Rukh Khan. Yeah, he sells tickets. It doesn't matter how good or bad.
बेटा धंधे में बनाता है तो कुछ भी चलता है.
No, but it's an interesting statistic that we sell a lot of movies to Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan and Hrithik Roshan, but when you look at the smaller movies, I'm actually driving 40 to 50% of his box office revenue. So if you look at a Gone Girl or if you look at a Finding Fanny, that target audience is completely within that 10 million which I own, and most of them buy their tickets online. So if you look at something like a Ship of Theseus, 60% of the box office revenue came from BookMyShow. So it's a double-edged sword. So these guys give us the numbers, but we also get very good numbers from the smaller films. So we love both.
Last question. Yes, sir. Speaker कोटा है, good looks कोटा है, इसमें quality.
Parikshit, why are you not venturing with selling tickets to the suburban railways and the metro?
Sorry?
Suburban railways and the
Railways,
metro.
that's not our business. Travel is a completely different...
That's a huge crowd.
I know, but it's a completely different DNA to manage
A
travel.
lot of convenience to the passengers.
I know, but also if you see the customer base that we have comes to us for entertainment. They don't come to us for anything else. And we had this discussion, should we get into travel? And another key insight, focus on what we know best. Because we think taking our business from 50 million tickets to 500 million tickets is our challenge. I don't think if I dig a trench into, I don't have the management bandwidth to get into another business. And we are very clear, we're focused on the entertainment industry. We think it can give us tremendous upside. And if we start diluting what we know best right now, then we will be a jack of all trades. ये भी नहीं करेंगे ठीक से, वो भी नहीं करेंगे ठीक से. So we are very clear in our mind that we are focused on this. This is what we want to do.
But you can give a solution to one who can really venture into it. And
Sorry?
You can give a solution to any company
Right.
who wants to do it. Because look at this number. Jaipur is soon going to have a metro.
Right.
Other cities are having metro. Big cities are coming up with metro. Why are you not looking at it? Why are you...
No, like I said, it's not our DNA. We don't understand the transport business. It's very, very different. And it requires a I think probably a travel company can solve that problem better than they can.
Last question.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you just mentioned that you drive most of the revenues for the smaller movies. So, is there a plan to actually start a publishing house, like in games? Like in a game, a studio makes a game, but it's normally published by say Microsoft Studios or say.
Right.
So, is there some plan?
No, it's not, because again, the studios are very, very greedy. They will ask you for an MG, saying, I'll tell you, somebody was telling me that the guy who made the Happy New Year game, so it was sold, the rights for it was sold for 75 lakhs.
Oh no, sorry, I think you got my question. I don't mean games. I'm saying a smaller movie house.
A movie
making
production
a movie.
house.
Say, let's assume I have a studio. I'm in Jaipur. I'm making a movie with a bunch of my friends.
Yeah.
And can't Book My Show be my distributor or a producer wherein it takes it to
We wouldn't be producers, but yes, we are talking to people like Anurag Kashyap, and they've actually come to us saying, we have a lot of these small movies which we have made which don't get released. Can you help us promote the movie? Can you help us get us the right screen time? Can you tell us how to program our shows, where it will work, which cinemas it will work? So that is something it's a conversation which has been initiated from the other side. We are talking to them. I don't know if it will work out, but we will probably do an experiment with one film and see what happens. So it's a very, very valid point.
Parikshit, just a quick follow-up question. How do you maintain focus? Because you have 10,000 ideas roaming around, from let's say suburban tickets to, why don't you fund the movie, to what do we do with the bank, what do we do with the money that's lying in the bank. So what is the one thumb rule? I mean, you can give it to me. I'll give you my account number later. But how do you maintain focus in the middle of all this chaos? Because very large growth, sometimes people can't handle growth.
No, exactly. And we are facing that problem. I mean, managing growth is tougher than, it's easy to raise money and pump it in marketing and say, मैं 10 crore इधर डालूंगा, 15 crore इधर डालूंगा. But really, you have to get the teams in place to manage the growth. And that is why we are currently struggling getting the right people in place who can help us to scale out. Because we want to do 10,000, and in our business itself, there are 10,000 things to do. And I have 10,000 ideas, what I want to do on the site, what I want to do on the app. And we have to focus and say, first we will do this, then we will do that, then we will do that. And it has to go from there. I mean,
so do you have a guiding principle that allows you to say, okay, this is...
Our idea is very simple. Yeah, what is best for the customer? What is best for the customer? Simple. And my customer, not his customer or his customer. What is best for my customer? I don't care if the guy is a pure trip customer, he's a yatra customer. So mere paas aata hai, to what does he do? How does he behave? What can I do to make his life easy? That's really the guiding.
Parikshit Dar, ladies and gentlemen.